So some of y'all want to hear about my life. Well, here you go. Let me begin with that I was born on January 23rd, 1990, and I had a Category 3 brain bleed, and at 1.5 years old, I wasn't doing the normal things that 1.5-year-olds do. I wasn't walking, I wasn't doing the motor skill stuff that 1.5-year-olds normally do. So my mom and dad was wrong. And so they went to the doctors. He diagnosed me with cerebral palsy, said I'd never be able to walk. There'd possibly be some mental retardation. I'd never be able to write. I'd be lucky if I could type. Things like that. So until I was about 4 years old, I surprisingly used a walker to get around, and then on Mother's Day of '94, I started walking. And at around that time, too, one of my first memories formed. For some reason, my dad, if you go down here, and I'm pointing to where the family room is. I'm not very good at geography, by the way, but the the family room is, it's not below this room, but it's like to the right of it, and then there's basically nothing there but the roof. But anyway, so you go all the way down there, you'll get where one of my first memories is formed. So by the screen door that goes to the backyard, I noticed it was dark, and then I noticed my dad sleeping on the couch. Okay, I'm 4 years old, and this sticks with me. Why is he sleeping on the couch at 7 a.m. and it's still dark outside? Why is he not upstairs, with Mom? I mean, what's going on? And, I guess it just struck me as really funny now that I look back on it. So then I find out later that their marriage was pretty much over when it started, and then he filed for a divorce on Valentine's Day of '96, I think it was, or at least that's when the divorce papers were served. And then he divorced her on June 11th of 1998, and so I don't have this life like J.R. Martinez, who, okay, he made a choice to get into the military, he served our country honorably, woohoo. To make a long story short, my dad's never been the kind of dad he should be, and he even tried to claim me as a tax dependent just a couple of years back when I wasn't a tax dependent, and I've never really been much supported by him. In fact, I found out that there were some child support payments that he really kind of, or equivalent to child support payments that he kind of reneged on, and he had to go to court for that. And one judge even told him, because of some things that he was doing, and I don't think it included the child support, but there were things he was doing, and the judge said to him, listen, you ever bring the kind of, because he was bringing false lawsuits and stuff against my mom, the judge was like, listen, you do this again, I'm going to throw you in jail for filing false lawsuits. And so, of course, I didn't find out all this till later, but yeah, you guys think, oh, you have, you're complaining about J.R. Martinez and all that. Like I said, as far as I know, he had a pretty privileged life and got his disability serving his country honorably, so no one's like, oh, dude, what happened to you? And like, oh, you're this and this and this. Whereas me, I've been, for lack of a better term, the walking bastard all my life. And, not only do I come into this world, get cerebral palsy, and, bam! But I have a dad who's a total jerk. And by the way, another memory too. One night my parents were fighting over something because I got sick and whatever, and so my dad, I found out this later, the part that preceded all this. But so they were fighting over the garbage disposal, because I was getting sick, throwing up, and whatever, they wanted to do whatever with the garbage disposal, whether to turn it on or off. What I remember is that my dad took my mom's left arm and twisted it behind her back, and he tells me that I didn't see it. I know what I saw. I'm not, stupid, and those things stick with kids. Just like the thing that when he was sleeping on the couch at 7 o'clock in the morning and he wasn't upstairs with Mom. I mean, that stuff sticks with me. So I'm not a stupid kid. I didn't say I was the brightest bulb in the bunch, but I'm not a stupid kid. And so, just all those things with my dad, plus I could go on and on and on. And as I said, you guys think that I've had a really, pretty easy life. Also, if you'd like to compound in my, the fact, well, you can go back to the tax dependent thing too, that he tried to claim me as a tax dependent, which I didn't find out about till later. And then also, you want to factor in that my granddad murdered my great grandma, and I have to live with that, especially because my family refuses to prosecute it. I got a whole lot on my plate, and it's not easy to deal with. So I come from, as my friend so delicately put it, a crazy family on my dad's side, and then I have my disability to deal with, and I don't have a mom who is very much supported as an ex-wife by her ex-husband. In fact, I have quite the contrary. He was more than non-supportive, and he was quite destructive. He was trying to destroy her. He was trying to destroy us. I ended up in Shipper Pratt because of him. I said I was going to commit suicide, and at the time I didn't know that suicide is pretty much a whole gamut in his family, because two of his great-granduncles, at least two of his great-granduncles I should add, let me see, I'm trying to think, yeah, at least two of his great-granduncles, and then his great-great-granddad all committed suicide. And the reason that I know that his great-granddad committed suicide, by the way, the two great-granduncles that committed suicide were the sons of that great-granddad, and it would be statistically impossible not for him to have committed suicide, because he had 7 children total, 6 of whom were sons, and for 1/3 of the sons to have committed suicide, and for the fact that he also died very young, that means that he committed suicide too. And by the way, I can also connect circumstantial evidence, so I'm not a stupid kid. And also, you have the fact that I have in my history, besides a murderous granddad, I have my great grandma who, I found out was an enabler of the Holocaust. So, yeah, you think I've lived an easy life, and, you just add my disability into the mix, and it was already there, and it affects me more profoundly, especially in some of these things, because, like I said, I got a lot on my plate. You gotta be crazy. And you just had no idea. And it's as the old Great Gatsby quote goes, whenever you feel like criticizing somebody, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the privileges that you've had. Well, before you start criticizing me, just remember that I haven't had all the privileges in the world compared to J.R. Martinez. So, there you go.